more on this, let's bring in Senator Bill Hagerty. He's on the Senate Banking Committee. Senator, thanks for joining us. So can Democrats actually get this passed through Congress, though?
I certainly hope not. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it tonight, because this would have a devastating effect on our economy, the exact opposite effect that we should be looking for right now as we're coming out of a pandemic. Look, if you want less of something, tax it more. That's exactly what's going to happen with capital gains. You want less capital investment? Raise the capital gains rate. We need to be turning our economy around right now, and capital investment begets more jobs, more economic activity. That's what America needs today.
Well, Senator, the White House, pushing back. The White House pushing back on this. The economic advisor Brian Deese thinking that the capital gains, raising it, would not have an effect on the economy. And I want you to listen to what he said today. Listen to this.
Okay.
For these highest income individuals, number one, and number two, we can use those resources to invest in areas that we know where there is convincing academic evidence, empirical evidence, that investments, for example, in early childhood and in our children return enormous dividends in terms of their own academic success, reduced costs in the healthcare system, productivity, and growth in the future.
So do you believe him that raising the capital gains won't affect the economy, and then two, we'll get some huge gain down the road at some date?
Absolutely, it's not going to help the economy, nor will it increase the investment dollars available for the programs that he just mentioned, because people that have capital gains have the ability to time when they realize those gains. They're going to outweight the Biden regime. People just aren't going to realize capital gains, and what it does is it traps productive capital. People just won't sell, they won't release it. That'll reduce the flow of capital investment into better, higher growth producing activities. So it's going to have a negative effect on the economy, and frankly, it will reduce capital gains tax revenues. This is a nonsensical idea.
Yeah, when you go back to the 70s even, the capital gains tax never reached above 40%. Now the administration is looking at 43.4% with that plus-up charge for the with Obamacare. Now even John F. Kennedy says a tax on capital gains directly affects investment. So how do you build back better when you undermine the capital needed to build back?
You're so right. I've been a businessman all my life. I served as the economic development chief when we brought my home state of Tennessee out of the last recession. What you need is more capital investment. The way you get more capital investment is you make a more favorable environment for that capital. This is the most hostile tax rate that we've seen on capital in America, certainly in my lifetime.
Do you feel like there's any reach across the aisle on raising capital gains? Will there be any discussion with Republicans to try and come to a compromise?
This is just typical of the Biden bait and switch. You know, he ran as, quote, a moderate, but as soon as he gets into office, he proves that he's being controlled by the liberal wing of his party. And that wing has been very non-receptive to commonsensical approaches to our economy. I hope that we'll find a better path, but raising capital gains rates is going the exact wrong direction. I'd be in favor of lowering them further.
And do you think that this could be the reconciliation process that they would have to use for this? You know, we've seen some hesitation with Senator Manchin, but do you believe this will be worked through the reconciliation process?
I hope colleagues like Senator Manchin will realize that something like this would be so damaging to the economy that they shouldn't use a tool like reconciliation. It's totally partisan. As you saw happen in the last process that they used, not a single Republican vote for the $1.9 trillion package that they pushed through. That's in the face of all the COVID relief that was done in 2020 that was done on a completely bipartisan basis, over 90 votes on every package. So if they move this direction, it will be, again, a completely partisan maneuver. It's something that Republicans are wise enough to see and call what it is. This is a job-killing endeavor. The Biden administration should not be undertaking this folly.
Yeah, I want to switch topics quickly, Senator. Since we're coming up, we're going to be talking about the Republican-backed infrastructure plan. Now, do you see an actual infrastructure plan being passed, or will progressives pack that other stuff inside the bill?
Here's a place where I hope we may have some real bipartisan support. I was just back home in Tennessee this past week. People want to talk about infrastructure. When you actually have the opportunity to invest in roads, highways, bridges, broadband, something that will yield an actual return on investment, that's something where we ought to be able to find a bipartisan solution. So I'm more optimistic there.
Do you think it could be a breakout then?
I hope so. Hard to say right now, given this environment.
Have you had conversations with other Republicans or even Democrats about this issue?
Yeah, we've begun the conversation, but there's a lot more to be talked about.
Senator, I appreciate Senator Bill Hagerty from the great state of Tennessee. Thank you very much for joining us.
Great to be with you. Thank you so much.